Hello everyone. Welcome to Hustle with Herman. Today we are going to look at how to use OBS to record videos. As the name suggests, OBS or Open Broadcasting Software is a free and open source video creation and live streaming tool which is available across platforms Windows, Mac, and Linux. Let's jump right into it. To install OBS, go to obsproject.com and install the OBS Studio based on your operating system. I am using a M2 Mac and I have installed the Apple Silicon Mac OS version of OBS Studio. Once you install OBS, you will see a black screen like this with a bunch of menu items at the bottom. We will go through these menu items one by one, but for quick starters, let's go to the auto configuration wizard to do some basic settings on OBS based on how you want to use it. Here you can configure for streaming to stream to services like YouTube or Twitch, set up a virtual camera, feature of OBS Studio that allows you to share your OBS Studio scene with any application that can make use of webcam, such as Microsoft Teams, Zoom, or Skype. Or you can optimize for recording videos. You can use similar settings for all three of these. For settings, you can pick up your video resolution. I prefer going with 1920 into 1080 if you're recording for HD, but you can choose a resolution as required. And for frame rates, you can keep 30 frames per second unless you want to record some gameplay. For me, I'm just capturing my camera or capturing my video, so 30 frames is good enough for me. Here you can take a look at all the settings you have chosen and then click on Apply Settings. And guess what? I am using OBS to record this video by opening multiple instances of OBS on Mac. To do this, you can open up your terminal and type this command to open a second instance of OBS. This will open multiple instances. Comment below if you have tried multiple instances of OBS in Mac at the same time. Before we start, if your computer fan starts behaving weirdly, check the CPU usage at the bottom of the screen to see if your computer is under a lot of stress. Video creation can eat up a lot of your computer resources. Now that the basic settings have been done, let's start with creating a scene. Scene is what you will capture in your video. So down below, you see a default scene here. You can choose to use this scene or maybe create a new scene if you want. We will see why you need multiple scenes later, but for now, let's use the default one. Then we move on to the sources. Using sources, click on the plus icon and you can add multiple sources to your scene. You can add audio capture, a Mac OS audio capture, a screen capture, or a video capture device, which is your camera. So let's start with Mac OS screen capture. If you are on an older version of OBS, you might see a display capture over here. So I will select Mac OS screen capture. Here you can name whatever you want. Let's say we say desktop. Here you can select whether you want a full display capture, a window capture, or a particular application capture. I only have one display, but in case you have multiple displays, you can select the display from here. You can see whether you want to show the cursor or we want to hide OBS from capture. Click on OK. If you do not see the screen like this, it may be possible that your OBS does not have permission to do screen recording. For this, on Mac, you can go to your system settings, privacy policy, select screen recording and make sure OBS is set over here. You might have to restart your OBS after doing this. Now that you see a display like this, let's resize it so that it shows up properly. Now that you have a display of your desktop here, let's move over to this section. Here, you can start your streaming, recording, or start a virtual camera. Go to studio mode. We will see what studio mode is later, or you can go to settings to configure some more advanced settings. We will look at the settings later, but let's just start recording right now. Hello, this is my first OBS video. You can pause your video over here so that you can restart it again, or you can stop a recording and start a new one. To see the saved recording, click on File and go to Show Recordings. Here you see I have two recordings. This is the one I am using to record this OBS video. This one is the one we just recorded. But there is no audio in this because we just added a desktop. We never added any audio. To add audio, we need to add another source in here. So I will add audio input capture. Name it audio. Click on OK and select the default microphone for MacBook Pro. I will also select Mac OS audio capture so I can capture the audio of my machine. I will name it machine audio. And I will select the desktop audio capture here and click on OK. In the audio mixer, you see this audio section and the machine audio we just added. You can enable or disable this audio over here, or you can increase or decrease the volume. Let's also add a video capture device over here. You can name it camera. Here you can select the FaceTime SD camera of your machine, or in case you have any other camera, you can select that. I will select the SD camera for my machine. I will use preset as high and click on OK. Right now, so you see the camera over here, but I will resize this again so it shows up properly. I'll move it to the top so it doesn't hinder any view. And I will start my recording now. Hello, this is my first OBS video with audio and video enabled. I will go to File and Show Recordings again and see what comes up now. Hello, this is my first OBS video with audio and video enabled. So now you have both audio and video enabled for OBS. Let's look at this file. The file is a MKV file format. This is not something we are used to seeing normally. We can add a MP4 file to your editing softwares, but not a MKV file. What is this? First of all, to convert your MKV file to MP4, you can click on Remux Recordings and select the file you just created. And it will remux and create a MP4 file for you. You can go back to Show Recordings and you have an MP4 file over here. If you feel that remuxing every time from MKV to MP4 is a pain, we can go to Settings and set the default mode for all your recordings as MP4. To go to Settings, you can click on Settings over here or click on OBS and go to Preferences. Here, go to the Output tab. I've selected the output mode as advanced over here. We go to Recording and we select the format as MP4. Notice the warning here. It says recordings saved to MP4 will be unrecoverable if the file cannot be finalized. Now this means if your OBS crashes by any chance, the MKV files are still recoverable, but MP4 files are not recoverable. So if you're recording a video which is very large, let's say for 1 hour or 2 hours, it is still recommended to use a MKV file, but you can use a MP4 for smaller videos. I've selected the rescale output as 1920 into 1080, and for audio, I'm using a 160 audio bitrate. For a very high quality audio, you can go to 320, but normally a 160 to 256 is a good enough audio bitrate for normal video recordings. Now, I can go to hotkeys and set a shortcut key for any of the action in OBS. So let's try out one shortcut key here. So I have my camera here. Let's say I want to have Alt 4 for showing my camera and I want to add Alt 4 for hiding my camera. I will apply this and click on OK. Now, if I press Alt 4, it hides my camera. If I press Alt 4 again, it shows my camera. You can hide or show your camera using the shortcut key, but you still do not have any transition on the camera. So let's try adding a transition while showing and hiding a camera. I will add a swipe transition and say swipe from left while showing. I will also add a hide transition for swipe and there is a slide from right. Let's see how it works. So in this case, I have added a transition to the camera. I can also add a transformation and say flip horizontally. So I personally like seeing my camera like this instead of the other way around. Now in case of audio, I can go on and add in some filters. I'll click on the plus icon here and add a noise suppression to remove any unwanted noise from my video. I will name it noise suppression and I click on OK. And I click on close here. I can add the same filter for my machine audio as well. Now that you have added a transition and transformation to your video camera and added a noise suppression to your audio, let's try adding a background to your video camera. I will click on the plus icon on the source again and add a color source. I will name it background and click on OK. Let's leave the color as same for now and click on OK. I will resize the background and move it over the camera. Now you see that the background comes over the camera and your camera feed is gone. That is because the background takes higher precedence as compared to your camera. So click on the camera here and move it above the background so it will start showing. And you can adjust your camera so that it shows up properly. Now you see that you have a background over here to your camera. Now we will add the last source of this video. I want to add an intro video so that I can show my intro video on my recording, and once I'm ready, I want to switch over to the actual scene. Now one way of doing this would be to add another media source over here for the intro video and hide and show the video as and when required. Another way of doing this could be creating a new scene. So let's create a new scene called intro. And now I do not have any source in this. So I will add a source in this for media source called intro video. And I will browse through and pick up this intro video file. And I want to loop through this and I click on OK. Now it shows a good video over here for Hustle with Herman. Now let's see how we can use the studio mode to use in case of our streaming. So I go to studio mode and I'm showing this video for Hustle with Herman. Now here you see two windows, one on the left and one on the right. The left one is the preview window. This is just shown to you inside OBS, and the right one is the one which you actually are showing in your recording or your streaming. Now let's say you want to start with this intro video of Hustle with Herman, and once you are ready you want to transition to the other scene. So I will have the preview window ready with my other scene, but my original window is still showing the video for intro. Now whenever I am ready, I can click on transition so my preview will move over to the main window. And if in case I want to transition back, I will click on transition again and I will start showing the intro video again. So in this way, you can use the studio mode in case of streaming, which is really handy. That's all I have for now. This was just a beginner's demo, and you can do a lot more with OBS. You can install more and more OBS plugins and add more effects and transitions to your videos to make them more engaging. Now at the end of this, you get a HD video which you can upload to YouTube. But wait, what about the editing? In the next video, I will talk about Clipchamp and how I use Clipchamp to edit the videos I create using OBS so that you can get ready to upload your first video on YouTube. I will see you next time. Please do mention in the comment sections about your experience with OBS. Thank you. Bye bye.